Welcome back, guys, to the EULCS here in Berlin, Germany, where Game 2 between the Misfits and H2K is about to get underway. Game 1 was a slow starter, but I think in the end it still delivered.
It was a macro game, as we expected with these two teams. You know, they're very similar in that sense. A bit more early game from Misfits. They got a few kills, mainly because the bot lane of H2K were staying too long.
But if we look back at like last week, I would like to see that style even more from Misfits, where they go full on early game, where they have Alfario on a bit more of a carry. Because I think early game with Shen in the top lane as a tank and you're Ahri building as another tank.
It was another tank, yeah.
And then not actually having a hyper carry, I think is just the wrong approach, because then a team with the experience of H2K, it will just kind of slow down the game and then kill you in the end.
Basically, it felt like H2K had already played against this style multiple times and knew exactly what to do, so they didn't really get challenged in that sense. Crepo too slow to get in the lobby.
Yeah,
so
too slow. We're already underway.
We are on our way, and we have also agreed for this game that now Crepo is only taking the team fights. I will not try and jump in, as it was a horrible disaster in game 1.
You know what? Sometimes it's good to make people appreciate the likes of Trevor, Quickshot, Hendrik,
Dracos,
and Dracos.
Sadly today, Dracos, of course, is sick.
The Sifa guy, wherever he's gone.
Sifa, hated that guy, so I'm glad he's gone.
Yep. But we get double colored here. Double analysis rather, in the champs leg. Lay down the law, what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, the bans are always super boring in the current meta. I can't wait for next patch. We might get something new.
7.5 is going to be so interesting.
So far, Rengar, LeBlanc, obviously, and Varus, we expect from the Misfit side, over on blue side, sorry, red side. H2K and blue, you have a bit more freedom. Still, you can ban out some comfort.
See, like a lot of Elise bans.
Yeah, but I think you want to get the Elise, if it is. But this is interesting, clearly because Power Vivo and Fevron are both huge Syndra players.
And it's not a champion worthy of a first pick.
Right.
But it is a champion worthy of a first rotation on the purple side.
Yeah, you need to leave the first pick open for things like LeBlanc, Varus. Just the option, if, you know, they are being left open. Now, Misfits will most likely ban both. And then you're still looking like we see Jay's first picks, not as often anymore. But then also there's like different junglers. With Rengar banned, Graves first.
Graves is just, for me, a solid opener, because I don't think he loses a single jungle matchup. He can play different routes, which is incredibly important. When you play versus an experienced jungler, being able to kind of switch up your routing, arrive at any point in the map, at any point of time, hide your jungle pathing by just doing some leashless starts, very important.
That's the leash you mentioned before, Crepo. So we're pinching the jungle pool once again. Still a lot of viable junglers, which is very good. It's a very deep pool at the moment. And again, we're expecting LeBlanc here to get moved. She actually's being left open. Are you crazy?
You had a stat earlier. How many games?
Yeah, so on 7.4 in Europe, she's been banned in 26 games out of 26.
And she's obviously been banned a lot more, even on 7.3.
Even before, hovering the Rammus, classic Odamna. He's a one-trick champion. It will be LeBlanc first pick.
I actually loved when Rammus was metagame.
I didn't. It was so simple and so dumb to look at because you literally couldn't kill him in a side lane. But
players of my caliber.
Wow, LeBlanc got first pick. What a surprise.
Yeah. Nice hype there. Maybe you want to do the play-by-play. No, LeBlanc locked in. What is actually Misfits' counter pick here? Because they left it up with a purpose.
I mean, yeah.
And they have to get their counter pick in first rotation, because I don't think they have an obscure enough champion that H2K is not going to find in the second bat phase.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of.
Or maybe Misfits don't know what they're doing either, and then how could H2K know? Obviously, they will have a counter ready, so Time Kench, a soft one in that sense. I wonder if we get Ryze from Power of Evil. He has been practicing it so much in solo queue. Just to have like this kind of setup where when LeBlanc goes in, you can
punish.
Instantly just W her, you can save whoever target she's going for with the Time Kench. You don't have to pick the Ryze now if you still want your jungler, or you prefer to carry in like a Jhin, and then you can take Ryze next time. But there are definitely other picks depending on the matchups. There's the Ryze.
Yeah, and this is a pick that traditionally, if you look like at the history of Power of Evil, he wasn't really playing that often. No. And it was often criticized for not having it in his champion pool, and that is a story we've told a lot about PoE, especially on Origin. This guy was struggling. He really didn't look as good as he did in the past, and the resurgence he's made with the Misfits team and infrastructure around him has definitely shown a different light on the player.
Now I want to see H2K punish bot lane. Like, they see Time Kench so early. I would love to see something like, again, like a Karma lane, something where they can really get a lot of pressure and try and like bully around it, because you know LeBlanc is going to play 1-3-1. If you get that bot lane tower down, end the laning phase that way and shift her into that lane.
Yeah, I think H2K is actually just going to punish the bot side of the map here.
Yeah, bot side of the map.
An aggressive jungle, not necessarily the bot lane itself. You can punish a bot lane without picking bot lane champions necessarily here, and that's what they're doing here with the LeBlanc. and the Lee Sin. They're hovering like, we know as here is your counter, don't even try it. We're aware this champion exists. And they go for the Ashe.
Again, they wanted a bit of pick potential, especially from the bottom side. H2K clearly setting up for this 1-3-1 skirmish pick comp.
Yeah, now Misfits, they have an AD carry they would like to lock in, and preferably a jungler as well.
Well, that's the thing now. Misfits, they have the chance to like pick the jungle and then start, you know, just matching. And simply say we can now like just ban our supports. We have already shown Tahm Kench. They're going for this full tank
game
comp
scaling
where LeBlanc just won't kill a damn thing.
It does make sense though with the Iron. When you play Iron, everybody becomes a tank. Like the shields, the double locket that you build up, it just makes it so hard for H2K in teamfights to find a pick. But if you isolate them,
then of course you can pick them off left and right. But also if you focus on early game, you can punish Misfits before they get to the point where the Tahm Kench, the Ryze, the Iron all start becoming super powerful. So I want to see that ranged support coming in from H2K to try and really dominate the bottom side of the map. Top lane as well. You can still go for tank there because you got Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Ashe. That's already enough like pick potential. You don't need it from your top laner specifically. But I want to see some focus on a fast early game because otherwise Misfits are just drafting this, as we normally call like easy to play, late game comp with Iron.
But if Misfits ban out Chandala's here, maybe harder for H2K to find a suitable tank. They get rid of Renekton. They don't want to play full snowball early game, so they're looking for an anchor.
Oh, they took the Karma away. Smart.
In the top lane.
I like this.
Is that Misfits planning to first pick Nautilus? Because I think if you ban these two champions, you have to just pick it up. Because if you hand it over to Odoamne, you give such a good answer and it's such a good fit in the composition.
Or they just say, you know what, let's get our AD carry and save last pick for Alphari.
Play Trundle.
Play Trundle maybe, see if we can get some sort of value against a potential Nautilus. But because Nautilus is so powerful, obviously you can't just take him.
Because a Ryze Trundle comp could actually play a really solid 1-3-1 here.
With Tahm Kench in mid lane. With Tahm Kench in mid lane. Both sides for extra support. So there's definitely value in saving top lane pick and just go Jhin here. And just kind of match the bottom lane.
I like what H2K do. They ban out the Ezreal, but wouldn't an Ezreal have been too slow for Misfits, I feel? Like, wouldn't you actually be sad if you're H2K that the enemies pick Ezreal? You already have full scaling on every single role locked in so far. I think they would have been happy playing against this. Because now, if you force Misfits in a slightly more aggressive, you know, band-aid solution like Caitlyn, I think you lose momentum on your snowball.
Well, you can still play something like Zyra here and have like a super strong 2v2 bottom lane if you are H2K and play around it. Malzahar, of course, is banned as always.
Yeah, let's not forget, usually when we see Caitlyn, we see, oh, this champion will win bot lane. But traditionally, Ashe has been a fine matchup into Caitlyn. If you pair that with, just like you were talking about earlier, support range disadvantage, then it is fine. Caitlyn will not solo carry this lane. The problem is, it is much easier to push through an Ezreal Tahm Kench lane than it is to a Caitlyn Tahm Kench.
Probably a good chance we see Nautilus again. Not the most exciting one, but just to get a bit of stability up from the top lane, and you don't really know what else you're going to play against. Rum is another one where a lot of top laners say he doesn't really have that many like hard counters. So you can kind of lane him against everything. I've even seen, you know, Odoamne take it into Jace when everyone else thought Jace would like destroy that lane, and he went even. So,
and if you look at the preferential play pattern for Rumble, it is literally just shove, shove, shove.
Yeah.
Right. If you look at the other matchups, I think LeBlanc with positive jungle pressure from Jankos is going to push as well.
That's the key one. You need the jungle pressure. 1v1, Ryze will do fine.
Yes.
You need the Lee Sin around you, but that's again what H2K is drafting for. Like, Misfits are literally surrendering the early game. They're like, yeah, we don't care. We're just gonna wait it out. We're gonna get to 25, 30 minutes. We're gonna play team fights.
Vastly different stories that we're telling with these compositions here. H2K, if Jankos can assist the LeBlanc push in the mid lane, that pressure can spill over in both side lanes. Ashe and Lulu will be able to push even 2v3 at one point. This lane is so destructive when it comes to just push poke. Odoamne, as long as he has vision or knowledge of where Kakao is, he will push in that top lane as well. So this is a very tough early game for Misfits to survive.
Now H2K drafted this kind of composition against Flash Wolves at IEM in the semifinal, third game with the Rumble top, you know, no pure tank. And they couldn't play it. They actually fell completely apart, and Flash Wolves ran over them.
But they did say...
They learned a lot.
They learned a lot.
And also, Misfits, we can't say they're at the level of the Flash Wolves just yet.
No.
Obviously, have to prove that first. So, could be a vastly different story. And this time, LeBlanc has been locked in. A pick that Ryze in the past has been able to deal with. But one mistake. One mistake, Mitch. LeBlanc has 2 kills, and then she takes over the entire game.
Oh, it's very important that Misfits play super clean early game here. As you said, a single mistake could mean that you actually fall to H2K 0-2, and we wouldn't want to see that. Ideally for the series. I think if you're an H2K fan, I think you're happy.
Definitely happy. Maybe probably will even smile.
And if you're an H2K fan, you can support them on Twitter at LOL Esports, hashtag H2K win. If you are rooting for the Misfits, hashtag MSF win. Where's your hashtag going, Deficio?
Oh, I mean, who I'm rooting for, who I think will win. I mean, it's hard to say.
You're rooting for no one because you're an unbiased professional color caster.
I'm rooting for you, Mitch.
Thank you, I need it. Who do you think will win?
I think, I mean, it's hard to say because it so depends on the early game. In this match here, I think the composition is strong from H2K. I like the amount of options they have when it comes to creating picks and forcing fights. But you can never disrespect these like really slow comps, especially here in Europe where teams don't always
play perfect.
Snowball and play perfect, yeah.
You look at it. We told the story. We're telling it again. Early game snowball for H2K. Scaling and buying time for the Misfits. We saw them use the Iron to great advantage very early in the season. On a jungler like Kakao, traditionally in his prime, not really what you would think is the utility support type jungler.
No, and I even think at this point, like, I like me some Kakao. I especially love him when he plays Lee Sin, even Rengar last game. So it makes me a little bit sad when I see him play Iron, because I'm like, you don't need to. You're so good, you can just get fed on your own, and you can like carry these games. But of course, a well-played Iron is a very strong utility tool.
Does he micromanage Daisy better than other junglers?
Oh, that's probably it. You know, his Daisy mechanics are top notch.
Getting the shields. Another standard invade here.
Just because, so what Iron likes to do is start on bottom side with blue buff. So often, like, you prep your blue buff, or so you prep your wolves, you go down, you smite your blue buff, then you prep your Grom, you can go up again, take your camp. So Jankos, he knows this.
This is super greedy from him, though. Usually you would just steal away a buff and disappear. To incorporate the new and kind of improved Raptor start is actually quite greedy, but it'll give a very good path here for Jankos, because the problem is when...
Well, if we just go to the Iron now, we can see again what he expects is this very standard path, but Kakao's on his way. He's taking the blue buff with Smite.
But no Smite, so he can't actually... Once Jankos sees blue buff, he knows that he can just steal this away super easy, even if Kakao contests.
So Kakao actually expected the red buff to be where Jankos started. So that's why he's checking the Raptor camp. That is gone. So this is a really good start for Jankos, because now, if he paths down to his own red buff, he actually stops Iron.
That's the point I was trying to make before I was rudely interrupted by my co-caster. Now PoE is actually in trouble here. Looking to dodge a chain here. Is in the minions, has to flash. Jankos flashes in for red buff. QQ, and it's over. Power Evil is crying. H2K with a phenomenal start.
But now here, Power of Evil, your jungler should have just called, I've lost 2 camps in my top side jungle. Watch out, where could Lee Sin be? On the top side of the map, because Kakao checked the red buff and didn't find anything.
Yeah.
And he saw the Raptor camp was gone, so Power V was staying in the middle of the lane, pushing a little bit forward, was just setting up for Jankos to gank him.
Yeah, not very smart here, no good team communication. It's also super easy for Odoamna to keep pushing. And if there's any jungler that gets disrupted the most by being forced into a single quadrant and then moving over, it is Ivan, because he needs kind of that cross-quadrant setup. He needs to set up part of his jungle somewhere, move over, set up the other part, cash in, and then move back to the new jungle that he set up. And right now, Kakao is forced to do a single camp per smite cooldown, so he's falling very far behind.
And it's just a nightmare start for Misfits, because they did not want to fall behind this early. They did not, for some reason, expect Jankos to come from that top side and get a kill mid. And this actually stops, you know, aggression as well from Power View, because he has no flash now.
No. He's playing into a LeBlanc. Yes, he has cleanse, but if Jankos shows up, that is irrelevant. Right now, Jankos gets revealed, low HP, so that means all the lanes can breathe a little bit. But Misfits, we have to remember, they only played with a substantial deficit in 2.3% of their games in the early game. This is a whole new world for them.
And last game was even in gold, but once we got to like the early parts of the late game, H2K did have control. Misfits could simply not react with their composition. Another sad thing here for Power of Evil is the fact his first back did not reward him a tier. And that is like the real QQ moment, because you need so little gold to get it, and then you have to settle for boots.
Yeah, settles for boots, has a single potion there.
So he has to recall another time to start getting the tier, and it really just prevents Power of Evil from kind of rushing towards tier Catalyst, which he needs to lane against LeBlanc.
Yeah, tier Catalyst Negatron is definitely the breaker in that matchup. Once you get all that, it's so hard for Fevin to push through. At that point, he wants to play on side lanes. Jankos, again, he's just looking to find Kakao.
A little bit off on timing.
Yeah, it's very easy, of course. If you're 2 seconds too late, that camp is gone.
Yeah. And what we see again, it was kind of the thing that we saw introduced at IEM from some of the teams against European teams.
Yep.
Like, to play around Raptor camp, it's the most experience from that specific camp. And that's why Jankos tried to time it. His top lane now, Afari is full HP, and there's no level 6 for Odoamne.
This is a tough dive, especially if Afari can't flash. He's taking a lot of damage right now. Jankos just, they connect everything. Afari just straight up dropping, not electing to flash anything. May have been the right choice there. Now Chase under pressure, Kakao finds bot lane cross-map play here. Can Nuclear survive? Burns heal, has flash left. And again, we were talking about this 2v3. These guys are super safe because any sense of aggression from the Misfits bot lane will betray the gank.
Yeah.
These guys have been playing passive the entire game. Suddenly, of course, they will know Kakao is there.
It's not like Kakao wants to gank the bot lane either. It's more, oh, my top laner is dying. I have to do something on the map. And you go down to this Tom Kench lane, and it's kind of like, meh, we don't have the damage to kill them. And that's a problem. And Jankos now, 2 assists already. His 2 solo laners have gotten kills. Great start.
Yeah, and more importantly, he can actually hand over this blue buff to Fem right now. We're looking at the game 1 stats. Both these junglers were honestly pivotal in their compositions. They were very important to any of their 1 fights, but Jankos still performed just slightly better right now. He's really dominating Kakao in this matchup.
And now again, different setup with Ivan for Kakao. So Kakao is not a playmaker in this game. He's relying on the rest of the team. But the rest of the team right now, if you look at the solo laners, they're falling behind.
Yeah, 10 CS and counting here on Alfari, whose lane has bounced out. Jankos getting the safety ward first, and they're looking to set up another dive.
Yeah, Odo has level 6 now, so they can go for another one. I think Jankos might get 6 on his camp.
I think he's just making sure that Ivan is not there as well, so they know they're not getting counterplayed. Look at how much damage Alfari is taking from keeping this wave out.
He's so dead.
There's no way to survive this. Maybe 1-for-1 if the dive is botched, but it's so easy. Flash goes out, Jankos connects, and that's it right there.
Yeah.
Odoamne really going to town on Alfari. You wanted to see him in a carry matchup. It's been tank versus tank. And H2K's experience is really showing through.
Yeah, this is not about the 1v1. It's about Jankos against Kakao. And right now, Jankos on the Lee Sin, winning out. Kakao's here, but it should just fizzle out. Nope,
Ooh,
he has
gets
to hit
caught.
him.
The juke predict there from Kakao.
Oh, okay, that was good.
That was nice.
That was good.
He didn't even flash. He knew.
No, yeah. Jankos got juked.
He's in his head right now.
Jankos like, oh, I can do everything. I'm the king of the world.
I can sidestep the skill shot.
And his little candy thing kind of flies at him. And Kakao outsmarts Jankos on that one.
I do like this move for Misfits. Whenever you lose the map, it is always good to shake it up and send your bot lane to a different lane.
What's very interesting though was how them swapping top was honestly the reaction to, hey, our top lane's gonna die. You know, our top lane, he's screwed. Problem is they arrived like 5 seconds, 6 seconds too late. And then he goes down anyway. Good return kill. See it again, Mitch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the play-by-play here technically, but yeah, the ulti goes down. It's so easy for H2K to execute all of this. Because Kakao just isn't in the right spot. Also, Ignore and Sama were coming, so a case can be made for maybe having somebody flash. You know, flash towards your Tom Kench. If Ignore was just a little bit faster there.
Okay. Let's see skill shot. Come on.
You want to play-by-play?
Let's see it. Okay, so here. And he rocks.
That was actually surprisingly accurate.
I've been practicing. Learning my Ivan sounds.
Nuclear looking to push out here. H2K just looking to not get surprised because that's the only way Misfits fight back.
Good ult here from Odoamne to stop the wave. Might get caught out though, Mitch, and he is probably going to die from this one because now it's Devour time.
And they're dropping power. Vivo drops now in the mid lane, getting pressured out. Odoamne lost his life, so this is a good moment to breathe for the Misfits. But they're still losing that third pressure in the top lane.
Yeah, Odoamne here. So the plan for him was, I'm just going to ulti the wave and I'm going to peace out. Because then I kill the wave, we get a huge tempo advantage on the push and we can get a top lane tower. Sadly for him, 2 guys showed up and again Kakao hits the skill shot.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan, but in essence still the map configuration is much better for H2K here because they have all this pressure on all these towers. And the second one tower fell, which did in the top lane, the map goes open, and that is definitely what H2K want in their comp.
Everything Kakao's been doing so far is damage control. Like, he's just trying to get something back for his team because they fell so far down. Great swap screen here.
What's happening?
You guys can see we got cutting away some of the champions, but they are killing the tower in top and bot lane.
Misfits, they win the race. Somewhat, they get a turret down, but there's a 2-2 falling here, and it's an extremely long lane right now. If you can put Fevin right there, you can really assassinate.
This gave me some old lane swaps
Flashbacks.
Flashbacks right here where, oh my god, they didn't bounce the wave on top side. Big wave now for the enemy top laner. No longer really matters.
No longer really matters. So what only matters right now is mano-a-mano mid lane matchups. And in the first game, we saw Febiven outclass Power Evil in the CS department. He had a lot of pressure.
But again, I feel like
Syndra.
It was supposed to be a 1v1, but dirty tricks from Febiven, always calling for his friends when stuff is about to go down. And then suddenly they're two beating up on Power of Evil.
Yeah, but he still had a good CS lead early on, pressuring that Ahri. This time he was cheating though. He brought more people to the party. Here we go.
Does it again.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Ignar goes low. He has the great health, but it's not enough. He drops. Had flash, had exhaust. But he was just not ready to flash out.
Misfits are just not ready right now to play against this kind of composition where so many things are happening. All started with Jankos. And everything is dropping. Second. Third tower.
Yeah.
I'm going to change it to.
A lot of towers are falling, is what we're saying
Towers
here.
are falling, guys.
Towers are falling, people are dying, and more importantly, Misfits cannot afford to do this with their comp. They opted in for a super late game scaling because they felt like the last early game went so even. So they just put all their eggs in the late game basket, but right now they fall 3.7k gold behind in the early game. That is such a disgusting lead for H2K.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes in. This is far and away the biggest deficit. Misfits have been in all split long, and now we have to see how they play when they're this far behind. Like, at some point you can't do anything.
No.
Like, you literally just can't do anything if the enemy team is playing correct. So I like this from H2K. You put Febiven on the bottom side because now you can push out mid. Caitlyn at this point is so weak. She has no Hurricane. You know, she can't wave clear that fast. So you can just push out the mid lane and you can roam. That's what you see Nucleus doing. You see it also from Che. He's in the enemy jungle. So now you get full control of the bottom side.
Yeah, Che is so comfortable just invading on his own, really, because the risk of getting caught out is extremely low. The only counterplay that really exists for the Misfits right now is a Tahm Kench ultimate combined with a lingering deport for a teleport. Surprise H2K, 5v3 at the start, get a kill, and then try and snowball. But they are facing a gargantuan lead here in the second game of the series.
Yeah, and that's so hard to do because you can just like toggle the H2K vision, and you're also going to notice not only with wards but with minions how much extra vision they will get. Like you can see in the jungle, there's a lot of wards from H2K being placed. Power of Evil has to just back away from his tower.
Yeah, they're playing the defense game, damage control, but Jankos is not alone. He brought his friends to the party, he gets the wild growth here, taking some damage. The Daisy mechanics, they're sublime, but Daisy got nerfed a little bit. It's not enough.
And every time it's back and pushing lanes. Because whenever you push, minions go further up into the enemy lane, you get more vision.
Yep.
Because you can see more and more. You can see every entrance, you know, to the jungle. You can see where
Sixth man from Blaze.
It's kind of unfair.
Back in the day.
The sixth man. Now we have Rift Scuttlers too.
Seven. The seventh scuttle.
7. You might get a Baron.
The fans, technically the eighth man.
The fans, are they?
Yep. 2 casters.
Yeah.
We're getting to 11. Getting to football.
We're back, you know, we circle back to the first game's talking point.
Jankos rewards himself with a blue buff. It's like, yeah, my mid laner's on the bottom side of the map. I could keep this
Look
alive.
how he's doing 2 camps at once. What a beast.
This is...
Maximizing. Use that in your solo queue games, but what will happen is you're going to walk over, you're going to reset the blue buff, and you're not going to get it.
It's actually a valid jungle strategy with Fiddlesticks.
He doesn't exist. So, no. Nothing is a viable jungle strat with Fiddlesticks.
So if you go into a bot game...
No.
No.
The minions will just kill you.
Fiddlesticks. There are a couple of one-tricks.
A few one-tricks.
There's a couple of one-trick Fiddlesticks that are higher yield than you.
That doesn't really require a whole lot at the moment, Prepo, but what makes me happy is that you play, what is it, what, 700 ranked games so far? And you're actually on your way down towards...
Che and Nuclear right now pushing in the middle.
Okay, I see it.
They're pushing in the mid lane, trying to put pressure here. LeBlanc in the bottom lane. Martin, tell me what's next here for H2K. What is their plan? What is definitely not my Diamond 2 elo?
Okay, well, the plan is bot lane control again, my friend. This bot lane tower will die very soon. Ignar has to try the hero play, but he's spotted every single time.
I can feel the tension in your voice. It feels like you really care.
It's just so hard for Misfits to do anything. Like, they're really trying, but...
They got a ward.
It just feels like they don't have the skills right now, much like you in solo queue.
I think they had the skills. I think they were just a little bit unlucky. Sometimes their team's dragging them back. Poor Hansama and Ignar, they're just laning in a defensive matchup, and suddenly their jungle dies twice, right? Like,
right.
What can you do?
Except for in this case here, the jungler has actually been carrying.
It was their top laner.
Turns out support is just whining, and now we go back to the game, Crepo. Let's see what's happening here. H2K.
I thought we were talking about the game.
Oh yeah, of course. Full vision. We want to see this bot lane tower fall, open up the map even more, and then where's the juicy fight so we can get you a smooth play-by-play voice?
Yeah. Featherman looking to not get cut out. The vision's really important right now, because if Misfits can get a single pick, they can eliminate all these control wards that H2K have built up. So it's really important that Featherman does not get overzealous. No hubris here, getting surprised by Kakao.
And it is important that he also wins on this LeBlanc when we finally get to see her, because this will be the last patch where she is a champion. Soon she is long gone.
I mean, she basically becomes Talia in 7.5. Wave clear bot in the mid lane, trying to push.
The old Olaf technique. Remove him for 2 years.
But one day, she will be back.
She will return.
For the Clone Wars.
And now H2K will soon get this bot lane up, because again, push in mid. You're going to see it all the time. They just always push mid and then they move into this jungle. Jankos just needs to join. He's been farming and farming and farming. He's the strongest member. He's now back with the team. And like, Fabian should get this bot tower now.
Yeah, he can actually get access to that. What I like a lot is the instant Ruby Sightstone upgrade as well here.
Oh,
as we see
this is greedy. You gotta run,
around. Misfits, they're trying to hold on, but what an arrow here, following up by Nuclear. Jankos gets thwarted, disengaged. They're respecting the follow-up. Ignar's here, Kakao following too.
I want to see Jankos be a little bit more aggressive. Not on Alfari right there.
Not on the tank.
But like, join in when Fabian is pushing in the wave. So you can just take that tower. They're gonna get it now, it's fine. They just allowed it to stay up for quite some time. They took it slow.
Minus points from Deficio.
Not minus points,
but they're still a professional team, and they do get that 4th turret right now versus 1. Really going to town on Misfits. Only 2 turrets and only 2 kills rather, and a single turret for the Misfits so far with their late game scaling composition.
And we talked about, you know, the battle for second best team in Europe coming into this one. So far, game 1 was fairly even, but obviously in favor of H2K in the end.
Favor of Mitch?
Of Mitch.
I am the second best team in the European LCS. I've done it.
It's been a few years since that happened.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
But Misfits, actually, were you ever the second best in LCS?
Always the best or last.
Okay.
Never in between.
But I think for Misfits, like, if they end up losing the series, you know, when they are this far behind in this game already, it shows they still have stuff to work on, which is really good. But for a new team in the LCS, they're still very well-rounded. Yeah,
they definitely they play well in most aspects, so they never had a crucial flaw that they could get exploited. Also for this game too, the replay will be very easy to analyze. Don't get invaded this early and make sure you have a backup jungle path done. Because if you draft this type of comp, you cannot afford what happened there, and that was a beautiful punish by H2K and Jankos.
I mean, a lot of it comes down to level 1 warding.
Yes.
You know, when you see Jankos invade to place a ward in your camp, you can actually just place a ward yourself. You see if he starts that, then you go his red buff. You know, suddenly Power Vivo gets the Q. Do not stand towards the top side. He won't die or he doesn't die to a level 2 gank, and then suddenly the game is very different for Misfits. But small things in League of Legends can often snowball into very big things.
Especially when it's great teams pushing that snowball down the hill. 5,000 gold right now for H2K in the lead. They can set their eyes on other objectives. They've been playing slightly slow, or seems to be slow, because they're simply just waiting for objectives to come out. They're not tunneling on kills. They know they can even farm, keep this gold lead as is, steal away some jungle, and just play the vision game, because they can always get every single objective here. If you contest a Rumble, an Ashe, a LeBlanc this early with your comp that scales, you will just get butchered.
Yeah, get it. So this is a good play actually. Ignore trying to make a cross-map play on Odoamne.
It's 2 tanks technically, so Odoamne could survive. There's another Rise here. Coming in, Power Vivo trying to choke down Odoamne. Odoamne gets a kill, he flashes, he jukes 1, jukes 2. Fari drops out, he is still a tank, so he will survive. For a second, I thought my co-caster would actually do a single team fight.
I thought we
stopped talking.
Well, Ignore right here didn't actually have time, I think, to pop his E, so he ends up dying.
Yeah, Nuclear.
Or he just ended up standing there, taking the whole thing. So midlane tower,
midlane turret under siege. Kaelin can't hold because obviously she only has a Runaan's BF here. And even though there is a semblance of a cross map for H2K, it still isn't enough because they lose more on the back end every single time.
They get a 1-for-1 and nothing else. Yeah. That's the problem. If you got, you know, the kill and maybe a tower, it's great. Now you just lost your mid tower. Bot lane tower under pressure. This is what happens when you have like 3 lanes pushing against you.
Yeah, because every single time a kill happens, it translates into an objective if you have lanes pushing. And that's also the advantage of this comp. When H2K get caught out, they don't really lose that much. Like, what is Odoamne really losing here except a little bit of his pride?
And his life right now. So Ignore goes in, Alfari with him as well. So the Rise joins, Arrow comes in. That's why Ignore is stunned. Max range, can't pop his E.
Oh, he can't get the great health off.
Just a great arrow, honestly, coming from Nuclear.
Yeah, and that Nuclear arrow, not only does it kill Ignore, it also forces Alfari to flash. So if Misfits want to go for a bit of a decisive play, they no longer have access to that flash on Nautilus.
So once again, Misfits on the back foot. I like the fact they go for a cross-map play. It's like,
It's so easy to sit back and do nothing.
Of course, that's what other teams have been doing, and we've been criticizing them a lot for it. Because like, there's no point in just sitting and waiting to lose the game. In this case, there is obviously a case to be made for being defensive because you have scaling on your side.
To a degree.
To a degree, but like, you still have your bot lane tier 2 outer turret. So you can hold on to that one for a little while. It will drop at some point.
I mean, you should become a motivational speaker.
Hey, you got one thing left in life.
Yeah, you're 6,000 gold down in the dumpster versus one of the better macro teams in Europe. But hey, have you looked at the bright side? There's still a turret with like 200 health remaining.
Yeah, it's still there. And you haven't lost the Baron yet because it just spawned. So you can now fight around it, or at least you can tell your team, hey guys, they don't have Baron yet.
Yeah.
They can't finish.
It could technically get worse. Will it get worse? We'll find out when H2K is actually setting up the vision for this Baron Nashor. As they are playing versus Misfits, who have now achieved their larger deficit in the league so far. Power Evil drops out, cleanses, not enough, gonna an arrow, fouls, he drops, Jankos kicks him in, bounces up on Sama, bounces up Ignard, he has to flash out, Kakao cannot do enough because Jankos here for turn number 2, Sama flashes out, Jay Odawana, they're all chasing and Misfits, they're getting torn apart, barbecued by this Rumble.
Oh, it's looking so grim now. Power Evil getting caught out, and they actually forced a fight the Misfits didn't want.
Yeah,
they didn't want to fight.
Nobody wants to fight this lineup from H2K because while they are 1-3-1 and kind of skirmish pick focused, if you fight them in a choke point, you even get the hero cleanse, it is simply not enough. Everyone looking for more.
Looking for Kakao, just want to force him away so he can't steal it. We saw that yesterday. Sneaky Iron plays, and you know, I did say a minute ago as a good thing, hey, at least I don't have Baron yet. That one is gone, so now you have your tier 2 tower bot.
Defizio, you still have your tier 2 tower in the bot lane, and I think that is the saving grace here for Misfits. They can all just go stand under it and let them end in the mid lane.
Just defend that tower.
Save that KVA.
Power Evil thinks he's safe because he has control ward, but that's the problem again. You have just no vision on the map. And now you get forced into this fight because everyone wants to save Power Evil.
Yeah. I like the teamwork from Misfits, to leave no man behind. But that was a beautiful kick from Jankos as well. He kicked him right before he turned into a corpse, into 2 people, the knock-up. Some great chasing potential here. There's an Ahri in the game.
Apparently Febiven is Ahri, and there's a Jhin too. So let's just assume this is the one from the fight, Febiven with 4k damage. There's a reason LeBlanc has been banned in, what was it again, Mitch? 26 out of 26 games.
Yes, that was it.
On this patch. Great research there by you, Mitch, finding that number as well.
Sometimes you gotta share, you know. Before the games, we sit together, we talk about the prep. Martin asked me, can you give me something to talk about? Because
no, they lost the tower.
Oh.
Ah!
That's it.
Now it's looking bad for Misfits. Now it's looking real bad.
What can they do without that turret?
It's like in the Battle of Helm's Deep when they lose the part of the big wall, you know, where he runs in and blows up the mine. It's like, it's
also, that one guy should not shoot that arrow that early. That was Misfit. That was Kakao.
Did he shoot it there? Yeah. Couldn't even, I don't know, yeah.
Started the entire fight.
I'm always like, someone else would have picked it up anyway and ran with it, so
really, the very start of the fight.
Yeah, it really didn't matter. Oh, that guy, yeah.
I love how every single movie reference you make is literally Lord of the Rings, because you do not watch any other great cinema.
I watch... Yeah, that's true. It's pretty spot on. Don't remember the last movie I watched.
Nope. Probably on a plane.
Yeah, it was on a plane.
Because that's the life of Martin the Fisher Linger. Busting out the curls in the gym.
And then I had that 80-minute game the other day. Yep. It's a very slow movie. Wasn't very romantic, but I like the ending. You know, a guy actually won his first game, so it's kind of like, you know, a feel-good movie in the very end. Sadly for Nehun, he didn't win his series.
That's fine. I got to see 2 clowns. Usually have to pay for the circus. Here at Riot Games, I get it for free.
And here you're, of course, referring to the casters, not the
casters, not the players.
Okay, good. So, let's see H2K pushing 3 lanes at the same time. I feel like we've seen this all game long. We talked so much in Champ Select about how hard it was for Misfits to defend when you're basically losing everywhere.
They have one good defensive tool, which is that line of traps. The problem is it only holds 1 lane at a time. Kakao is placing a brush in the base and then definitely telling his opponents, I'm not in this brush. It's definitely not me.
You should dive. You should 100% dive.
Like, just because you can't peek in doesn't mean that I'm not here.
Now, the problem for H2K is, and this is definitely not a huge problem, is that you get the Baron so early that you can't actually use it to finish the game because you're still too early. Like, you can't just dive turrets.
It's like when you inherit $1 million when you're 18. You haven't really developed the work ethic.
Right. Also, it could have been 2 million.
Could have been 2 million.
Sadly, you only get $1 million, so They're still going to be happy, of course, H2K.
Are they going to wait for their second million, or are they going to at least open in the hit with this Baron?
I think they're going to wait for the second one.
Yeah.
They got an Infernal Drake, good investment.
$500,000.
Definitely half, close to.
Are you going to wait for like 5 million like Origin? Or
That's
it's
a lot
too
of
enough?
Barons.
That's a lot of
That's
Barons.
a lot of Barons. Let's see for this here. So if you're Misfits, Crepo,
Yes, Defigio.
I hate always standing here and going like, oh, guys, still have a chance, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. But
Barcelona,
6-1.
they didn't have a chance.
I just
And they
think
did.
at this point like, in the game, like we see this pretty often where you just far down, like you literally just have to rely on a mistake.
Yes.
Like that's the only thing you can do.
And you gotta pull the trigger. The problem is, so many teams get prevented by like, or presented with like kind of half mistakes, and they're like, no, we'll wait for more. No, you can't do that. Not against a team like H2K. But H2K is also a team that in the past has given up some of those mistakes.
Yeah, once per game when they have fantastic early to mid games, they make that one mistake where they over chase and die. We actually talked to some of the players about it, and it was like, it's always based around, you know, greed. Yeah. Like, come on, we're so far ahead, guys. We can take this fight. Just go for it, you know, just kill this guy. And then they end up over chasing because they don't respect items that have actually been completed on the other side.
And that is an element of snowballing. You gotta take slightly suboptimal plays that in an even fashion wouldn't work out, but because you're ahead, they will work out anyways, and you get even more lead. The problem is if the risk assessment there goes wrong, you can throw a lot more than you gain.
So in this game, we don't want to see that, but Febiven jumping in. Gotta respect the fact that Rise can W him instantly, but that's why Febin jumps in and uses ulti.
Ignite has a key role right now. He needs to prevent any damage he can, because Devour can be the ability that saves a fight.
Very true, but also Power Viewer with the W, with the Rune Prison.
Yeah.
Like, again, we saw Febin instantly use Mimic to avoid obviously getting snared under the turret, but in a fight, if Febin jumps in and Power Viewer instant snares him, they can then hook, you know, they can use
Depth charge, knockout,
anything, you know, the Q from Ivern, and then you can still burst down this little point. The problem is, of course, he has an hourglass, so it becomes harder to do.
And he went for that super defensive build, which is fine as long as you build it ahead of the curve.
Also, you have magic damage from a Rumble that you also ends up buffing with the Abyssal Scepter, so it makes much more sense now than what Power People did in the last game, and we're kind of just waiting for H2K to kind of
make a move.
No, well, they're waiting for Baron. We're waiting for H2K to go up and set up for Baron again, but why would you set up for Baron when it's not alive?
I mean, that's what you do all the time, right?
But they already have the setup, so...
Yeah. I think they're stalling right now. They're just keeping all the lanes pushed. Greed for H2K would be actually committing for a tier 1 tower, because committing right before Baron spawns is the way to throw a game.
So what they're doing is, wait for Baron. If Misfits wants to fight, perfect for H2K to take the fight.
Take the fight.
If they don't want to fight, you get another Baron, and you might have to wait for another Drake into an Elder Drake. Like, that's why some of these games sometimes, you know, really get to 40-ish minutes, even though a team is so far ahead, just because pushing into the base with a very, very short travel time between fountain and turrets makes it difficult.
Makes it very difficult. The good thing is, though, H2K have done really good setup. The only problem that you could fault them for is that they don't have a ward in the pit, so technically there could be a blue trinket spotting Nashor right now. They have 4 control wards in the enemy jungler. They are really shutting down the entry wards. They're dewarding the best they can, so that means once the Nashor spawns, Misfits have an incredibly long route to take into Mount Doom.
Very true. Another problem for H2K when it comes to pushing is that Rumble, while he's winning the bottom lane, he's a melee champion. So he can't really get in and start hitting the tower because he has to respect the Nautilus. So they don't have anyone who can actually get damage on a turret. There's Rune Prison from Rise, that's why Baron is the objective.
And they're just instantly hard committing. They're not giving Misfits a single moment to breathe. Obviously, they can only transport 2 members in, and even then it would be a 50-50 steal for Kakao. And now the problem is this Rumble that could previously not hit the turret can just guide the minions in, and then obviously chip damage can happen.
I mean, another thing you can also start seeing is like Banner of Command gets completed. I think if you're Che, getting a locket is fantastic.
But you don't need it.
But you don't actually need it, because you need to win the game before we get to like full late game. So getting like a Banner of Command, buff a minion in the bottom lane where it's the Nautilus sitting, he can't kill that, and then suddenly you can actually get damage on the tower.
PoE gets chained up, has the Rune Prison ready, but Jankos is in support. Che looking to help his team as well. 1 or 2 traps go down. Odoamne was ready to join, but he's peeling off again. Buffing creeps in different lanes.
Yeah, you always have to push multiple lanes if you're H2K, because whenever you go for one lane, you allow Caitlyn to set up her traps, and then you can't really get to the turret. So I really want to see that banner, just to have the Odoamne lane.
Yeah.
Getting pressure on the tower.
There's quite some frustration, I feel, in H2K right now, because they get the Nashor, they don't base immediately. They go for a bit of a push, like, yeah, let's base anyways.
Right.
So they essentially just waste a minute. on their Nashor buff before they're in full formation.
Something we've seen before from them again. It's the one thing we often criticize them for. The late game blunders. I think Misfits, when it comes to the kind of proving they can be a defensive team, didn't really impress us in this game specifically. They fell really far behind very early.
If you play this style of composition, you cannot afford to make any mistakes. This is a type of draft, if we see it versus a team like H2K from Fnatic, we would be critical.
Yeah. Now, they're still in the game because H2K can't break into this base. They simply don't have enough damage, enough time to get these turrets. And Odamne will walk in. At this point, just don't Flame Spitter, walk in, hit the tower a few times, walk out.
Walk out, yeah.
You can do that because you just want to grind them out.
PoE gets a big chain right there. That could be actually the opening here because Jay is joining and Febby is actually getting the hits that they need on the turret.
This is very key because all the trash from Caitlyn is in the mid lane. Fabian is the ranged champion with access to the turret.
But Jankos is doing Dragon at the same time, so H2K is playing on too many fronts at the same time.
But Misfits, they don't know. Until they actually see the Dragon die.
Yeah. They may pull the trigger the second they hear that sound.
We're close, guys, we're close. Here, everyone in the crowd can ready for... Oh, Odo, he stopped using Flame Spitter. He's hitting the tower.
He's hitting the the official, but they see Dragon go down, so they know Jankos is not there. So that could be Odo Wamne dropping. Let's look at the other side. Can PoE survive the engage? Yes. He went off, but Febivan took another turret down in the bottom lane. Odoamne is still alive.
He's buying time, he's just buying time. Now Paviu will kill him, but it doesn't matter because H2K wanted the base.
Yeah. So actually the sound of a dying dragon is what it took for H2K to finally be able to break open the base because Misfits could not defend on all fronts at once.
And now you have open top lane, you have Inhib already down bot lane, you have a second Infernal for H2K with a composition where multiple members will benefit from it, not just, you know, one or two carries. The Rumble stacking full AP as well.
They also have Misfits down in the dumpster, 15,000 gold.
So that was step one of the siege. Now there's the inner ring as well with the Nexus turrets you gotta get through. That tends to get a little bit easier when you got super minions with you.
Unless you give your opponents Varus.
Unless you give them Varus and Victor.
And Victor.
And then you get caught twice.
And you get caught twice.
We're not thinking of any specific team or game
Hypothetically
right
speaking, that would not be a great idea.
No. Especially not if you wear pink outfits.
Yep, and you were playing against a Swedish AD carry.
So I don't think people get it, but I did once see in NA a team with Wild Turtle on it, TSM, surrender, or not surrender, but survive with 3 inhibs down, and they won the game. So let's put all of them on North America. Would never happen in Europe.
No.
Only in NA.
I do not follow that statement. I hereby resign from the statement.
Well, they still got ban buff Mitch for a few seconds.
I love how we're switching here between names and actually caster tags.
Did I say Crepo at any point?
You did call me Crepo once.
I only call you Crepo when I'm mad at you.
When you're angry.
When you've been naughty, I'm like, Crepo.
Call me with my gamer tag. A lot of traps here. Who's going to take it?
Come on,
Jankos. Take one for the team. It's the headshot. You know you want it.
I mean, you could just go bottom with your super minions and force Misfits down there. And then you get some damage on mid tower. So it's just this very slow grind where you're just getting a bit of damage every single time and you're not giving Misfits a chance to come back.
Yeah, Alfari hiding in the brush. That must be some tall weed to hide massive anchor.
Now Grube, Mitch, where Misfits is currently sitting, behind G2 Esports. Nothing will actually change in the overall standings because Fnatic have been losing.
Yeah.
G2 has been winning. So Misfits, oh, let's see, Ansama might go low.
Ansama might be losing.
Damn.
Prison wasn't enough. Everyone jumps back in. Jankos now. Everyone dodges the depth charge with the Zonias. And at this point, H2K should be able to take the fight here. Redemption comes in. Look at how packed they are. Nuclear opens up onto Ignar. He has to flash out. Has Devour still available. PoE looking for damage, but the objective's the inhibitor. It falls. Alfari soaking up right now. Ignar as well. Have to disengage. PoE under pressure. Gets chained. Drops. Jankos goes in. Devour saves him, but it's not enough. And slowly but surely, all the damage is dropping down the Misfits one by one. And now the Nexus turrets are under siege.
Oh, and Sam actually stayed alive. Could be important if he can come back out here and defend. Odamne and Febivan on the tower. Everyone is alive from H2K.
Yeah, Febivan, they're looking to the Nexus. They're dropping the attack. Can they get the Nexus? They get it. H2K 2-0 the Misfits.
We said it in Champ Select, Mitch. H2K's composition would win the early game, would win the mid game. Misfits surrendered everything early on, went for full scaling, and then level 2, they give away first blood.
Yeah, but they give away their Raptors. Even if nobody dies right there, it was just a great start because Jankos was a full step ahead of Kakao.
I think H2K will look at this situation and say, our jungler is so good early game that we should always be able to snowball with this kind of comp. It's not a question if they can. The question is, can they then finish the game without, you know, taking a bad fight? In this game here, they played it so clean.
I would have loved to see this game with a single ward at the entrance on the ramp from the Misfits, so at least the cow was aware of what was going on, and he could maybe react and invade. The problem is he would still be invading in between two pushing lanes, so that would make it very hard. Ivan is a champion that can do that.
Yeah. It's just all about awareness. You know, your mid laner actually expecting, oh, I could get ganked from this side, which he should have expected, seeing as we saw the two camps go down.
Yeah.
He can check the two camps as well.
Yeah, that's a major communication mistake.
But yeah, really well played by H2K. So as I just touched on here in the end, you know, Group A, nothing changes. Misfits are the second best team in that group. They will stay the second best team as well because Fnatic are not able to kind of pick up wins underneath them. Group B, however, that's where we have the competition for first place. Unicorns and H2K both tied, and Splice just under them, winning games.
Yeah, it was a super important victory here for H2K, and also I think they look stronger than the Unicorns recently, even though the score is tight, because they're on the up and up. Unicorns struggling right now, and it makes me happy as well, because that means the top two teams are not all in Group A. Say Misfits beat H2K here, then you have like a really stacked Group A.
Fair.
With people trailing behind. The groups are extremely even.
And this is the kind of game, if you are the Misfits, you know, after such a great spring split already as a new organization in the LCS, like, it sucks to lose, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, we're not perfect. You know, we have to learn, we have to improve on certain things, and you'd rather learn that now than in 4 weeks when we're sitting in a quarterfinal.
And I think if you talk to their coaching staff, which is honestly pretty well-rounded, they're also okay and accepting of that, because they changed, like, especially the way they approach their games, the fact that they're willing to change playstyles. They changed a working product, turned it upside down last week, to then practice more for the playoffs. It indicates that they're okay with losses, and granted, their buffer against Fnatic is going to help that as well.
Yeah, and if, you know, the season or regular season ended right now, Misfits would play a quarterfinal against Splice, which is a very likely scenario because Splice have a few wins before they can actually catch Unicorns and H2K. And of course, the other one would, at the moment, be Unicorns versus Fnatic as the other quarter. So Misfits could still dodge around G2, which is important.
But let's talk H2K real quick. Major flaw for them was greed, over-chasing, not communicating well, or getting too chaotic in the fights. I don't think we really saw it.
Not in this game. Not in this series. I think H2K played some really solid League of Legends where you can always argue, why don't you finish the game faster? But like, you are against Wave Clear, Cape
If you don't have to.
If you don't have to, they were playing for the second Baron. As soon as they had that second Baron, we saw them break into the base. We saw Fabian get some damage down. And then it's a slow and steady and not giving the enemy team a chance.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree right there. H2K solidifying themselves as a really strong team. Worked on some issues. Martin pointing at something that is not appropriate for broadcast. But we'll be joining a member of H2K in the post-game lobby. But let's first go to Stress, who's standing by for a word with the Misfits.
Hey, I'm Stress here, joined by Paravival. First of all, I want to say thank you for joining us after what is a difficult loss. The first thing I want to talk about, Power, is Misfits have been very successful this split. But there have been now 2 teams that have taken you down. First of all, G2 and now H2K. When you guys go back this week, how does the Misfits organization and structure handle a loss like this?
Well, so first of all, we obviously wanted to go into the series and win it. So I think it was since G2, I think our the hardest beating we took. So I think we have a lot to learn from these games, and I think we are going to rewatch these games individually and as a team, and I think we can learn a lot from.
There's a lot the Misfits have talked about mentality. Does that kind of come from the players, or is that more the support staff? Like, how come Misfits have such a good mentality right now?
I think everyone in the team, every player has a really good mentality and really good attitude and kind of just like work ethic. So I think even though we took a hard beating today, I think we're going to recover, and just next week is going to be a new week and new games. So I think we're going to be good.
It certainly will be, and I think that puts fear in Group A if you guys are going to bounce back and recover. I do want to talk a little bit about the 2 games. In Game 1, you played the Ahri, an assassin that normally needs to snowball. Perks was asking a little bit on the desk about the Abyssal, the Zhonya's build that you went against tanks. Do you mind elaborating a little bit on the decision-making for your Ahri build?
Well, so I wanted to go Abyssal since side lane. With Abyssal against Marauders, I'm going to win really hard. And we have the Shen ultimate, so we should win the split push. But I think Faberfin played really good around not actually going on the side lane and more grouping of mid lane. So I can't really punish him. So I always need to run mid lane, get priority as a team. He just runs top, out pushes, and it's just all the time like swapping the lanes. So we can't really use the Shen Ari combination. But I think we had the lead and we could actually snowball the game. We kind of threw on bot lane with the plays since I couldn't join and I was on top lane stuck. So that was just like a really, really huge gamble we took and it was not paying out. So I think first game we pretty much just threw.
And then game 2, leaving the LeBlanc open. There's a lot that plays into that decision. Would you mind giving us a little bit of your thoughts playing the Rise into it specifically?
Well, so we had huge success actually playing versus LeBlanc, and we knew that there's going to be probably early ganks mid lane, especially in the LeBlanc matchup against Rise or LeBlanc against Ari, whatever we took. But we actually didn't think about level 2. Like he actually started our red buff, so we didn't really think about that one, and it was just really surprising since I think in both games Jankos took jungle pathings we didn't actually knew about, so it was 2 times really new for us, so we could learn a lot, and we went I think a little bit too greedy in our draft. We took scaling mid lane, scaling top lane, scaling AD carry, so we should have not. Yeah, obviously we just lost the draft by going way too greedy.
I think the greedy play, though, for Misfits has worked out in previous weeks, right? You guys have had a lot of success up until this point. As we said, only 2 teams now own a winning record over you. I want to talk a little bit about Misfits being in second spot, G2 with the team above you. What do Misfits need to do in your mind, one thing, to actually start competing against G2 the next time you play next week?
Well, so I think we need to, first of all, in second game, I think we just need to fix our draft. So I think the second game was a lot just coming out by draft, and the first game, obviously, as I said before, I think we threw, so I think it was equally gold. Obviously, you can't tell since I don't have the outsider perspective, but it felt actually good in game, but we kind of just gave it out of the hands, so we need to stop these risky gambling plays and probably just improve our early game a little bit better. So you could see a huge difference between our last week series we had, where we always got this early lead and could snowball it and translate it to mid and late game. And today we really got just rolled over in the early game, and we always needed to play from behind.
I know it's been a difficult day for you, Tristan. We're going to let you head back to your team. But thank you very much for joining us. We're loving seeing Misfits in the LCS and the success that you guys are having. Looking forward to that matchup against G2 next week. But for now, we're going to head over to the post-game lobby.
Thank you so much for that interview as well, Stress and Power of Evil. And welcome to the post-game lobby. We have Crepo, we have Perks, and we have Jankos. And we got to start with you, Jankos. Congratulations, 2-0. How happy are you with your series?
To be honest, I think that the games were way easier than we were expecting. I do believe that we... No way, bro. Look, we prepared for those games. We had 1 week of scrims. We took them very seriously this time, and I think it paid off. I also think that they were making a lot of mistakes in the early game, and they didn't punish as well in the comp where they had to snowball the early game. So they made a lot of mistakes that we were doing in 2016. So we could see them in game, we could abuse them, and we were really calm doing so.
I don't think you were flaming, but I think generally we expected... No, I think we all expected a closer series, 3 games, or Misfits to put up more of a fight. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think the problem is with Misfits, if you draft a composition game 2, it has to scale that much against a team like H2K who's going full on in the early game. That in itself is very risky, and I think is almost disrespectful.
I think Jankos has something to say about people who draft like that.
And then if you make a crucial mistake and you get invaded by the first blood king and you lose your Raptors and red buff, then it's really hard.
Let's look at that early game, because you did start. You wanted to teach Kakao a lesson, is what it looked like, Jankos. This is actually the first kill.
To be honest, this is something that it's part of evil mistakes. I mean, I think I respect him, so I'm not going to say that he is dumb. But this is a rookie mistake, you know? Yeah. Like level 2 die from the jungler, you shouldn't die like this. So I think overall...
Especially when he knew where he was.
Yeah, like the thing is Kakao saw me on red buff, or he didn't see me, but they could have expected it. And it's very likely that Lee Sin will gank with LeBlanc, you know, especially if LeBlanc doesn't have Q. And then, as we could see, we dived top lane a lot, simply because Rumble has pressure over Nautilus. Ivern cannot really punish Lee Sin, especially after that start. So going top lane was the most optimal play.
And
Now
also
Nautilus-
just speaking Nautilus into Rumble is really just like disrespectful.
I mean, you kind of farm well, and then you outscale him, but this is the risk, you know? You pick Ivern and Nautilus in the same team.
The Rumble like pushes in all the time and will go at least 20 CS up, and we'll have pressure and can move anywhere. So I think it's
Oh, okay, so you are too good, or what?
Yeah. I think,
Okay,
yeah.
you would win, yeah?
Yeah, I will win with Rumble
okay.
for sure.
Guys, if you look at the mid lane play and you say, you know, this is a mistake from Power of Evil, is it not more so a communication mistake of Misfits? Or, Perks, when you're in a game, are you expected to see that? Or do you expect Trick, for example, your jungler, to tell you that this jungler could be arriving? Same for afterwards, Jankos, maybe?
I mean, I usually see this kind of stuff, but Trick always calls everything. So he's like, I'm going mid, and I'm like, okay, I can't die then.
Jankos, you're not as perfect as a player who sees everything like Perks. Do you need help from your teammates there?
I
or-
mean, I don't want to talk about scrims, but in scrims, Perks dies to level 2 gank like almost every game. So I don't know if you can say, oh, I see it every time, bro.
If you want Scream Elo, then you can just gank me, you know?
Oh, yeah. But overall, yeah, I think Kakao should communicate that I could either level 3 gank top lane after cracks, either I will go mid lane level 2, especially like Perks said, you know, LeBlanc took E, so there's no real counterplay. And this is pretty much the only chance we have in this matchup, you know, because afterwards, Ryze will outscale, he will pressure the lane, he will base for tier. So we abused the mistake, but the mistake shouldn't happen in the first place.
Yeah, just to illustrate how far you guys were ahead, you dealt Misfits their largest goal deficit at 10, 15, and 20 minutes this split. So I think that must have hurt.
wow.
Did you want to ask another question? You've took the play-by-play. You want to be the host?
Nope,
Is there
I'm
anything
good.
else
I'm
you
just
want to
gonna
do?
sit here
no,
and,
just kidding.
host.
Just kidding. I wanted to ask you about how did it feel? How was it?
When we got the news that Dracos was sick, we kind of came up with a fun plan of doing the Fisher Crepo cast. I think it went okay.
Do you have a newfound respect for play-by-play casters?
Oh, definitely have a new. I always respect
Always,
the
obviously,
play-by-plays. You
but
know, I love
yeah,
them.
yeah.
But it's definitely hard to, especially when production's talking in your ear and feeding you stat lines or telling you like, do you want to do post-game lobby while trying to figure out what's
You mean
going on
you don't
in
do
game?
everything by yourself?
No, definitely not. And then having Martin troll me in a cast it's a bit like what Perks is doing to Jankos, but a little harder while you're on air. So definitely hard.
Were the games slower than you expected?
I would have. I think game one was slow, but it was fun because at least I feel game one you guys were always fighting over something, like whether it was some vision or cross mapping.
Wait, Crepo. Are you
I'm
trying
waiting.
to tell me that H2K didn't do that many mistakes in mid and late game? Oh my god.
We actually had a tweet from a famous Polish jungler that said exactly we have 1 month before playoffs, and now we have to focus on our mid to late game. And I have to say, Jankos, congratulations, you guys definitely improved.
Triple
Thanks.
congratulations. Improved player of the game, Jankos, and you locked in your spot in playoffs.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah, but the thing is,
Oh.
match against Misfits doesn't matter because we want to end first in our group and we have to win against UL to do so. So even if we would lose today and, you know, next week we play UL and we would win again UL, it's
You will
like...
have to play the matchup properly to win that game.
Yeah. It's going to be way harder against UL because I think they focus on early game way more, but they are still... I think as the season goes, and they start really strong, they always like go down and down because it seems like they try to play the smart game right now, and they are known for being like really aggressive and taking every fight, which they are not doing right now after IM for some reason.
This will most likely be on 7.5 though. Have you guys had any experience in solo queue with the patch?
Not really, because the same champs I've been playing in scrims, I've been playing in solo queues. I didn't want to like try actually new stuff with new masteries or champs or whatever. So I don't know if it's same for Jankos, but
Because with the exhaust ignite changes, some champion nerfs here and there, like this could actually favor the unicorns in a more aggressive setting.
I think Ryze is nerfed, so that really does not favor the unicorns. But some other stuff, maybe yeah, they're good
I
at like
think-
discovering new things. So.
Yeah, I mean, Rengar is nerfed and Ryze is nerfed. And I was inting it on Rengar, and on IM. I was like totally not good.
You were learning.
I was learning, yes. And then, Exile, he's big fan of Ryze, you know. So Ryze is nerfed as well now.
Yeah, it's his best buddy, I think.
Yeah, I think 7.5 is in our favor, a little bit more than 7.4. I'm glad.
Oh, well, yeah, that would mean really good things for you guys because you seem to have fixed up some of the mid and late game things as you alluded to. But I think
I wouldn't go that far. We can still,
I'm just repeating what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not
just
good.
because we won 1 PO3 doesn't mean that we are actually good now, you know? We will still make...
This is the analyst desk. We overreact, we overgeneralize, and
We always results-based analysis. It's all we do. If you look at H2K, very often we, from the colorcaster sides, we talk about like how your mid to late game is bad because of some greed and because of like maybe the communication, everybody's shouting and nobody kind of changes the call mid play. Like if ever, no, I think multiple people are very loud in H2K. When you go for a Baron, like to turn around, is that what's blocking the mid to late game, or what are some of the issues that H2K is or was potentially struggling with?
Okay, for example, communication of Flash Wolves, when we were screaming against them and we were sitting pretty much in the same room on IM, they were screaming like animals. Like, I mean, as of really loud and like everyone could hear them in the room, you know? But no one could understand them, so that was unlucky. But the point is, I think, yes, we need to be more calm in mid-game, more collective, and we can't really force plays too often, you know? Like last year, we had this issue where we had Forgiven, Vander, and Ryu, and in mid-game, we would like mental
Only go
block.
forward.
Yeah, only go forward, and we couldn't really like, hey guys, maybe we should pick Ezreal and scale a bit. And, you know, if they dive you both 3 times, it's fine. But because, you know, it wouldn't be fine. Yes, exactly, login.
All right.
But the point is that, yeah, I mean, basically, right now we are more collective, more calm. We go for like the slow plays. We pick like, we play around comp. Our team fights are still a little bit of a struggle, but they are getting better. So I'm happy with the results so far.
Perks, were you even allowed to scrim the Flash Wolves?
Yeah, we actually scrimmed them 2 or 3 games.
My burn just failed. It's very hard. Like, it's all good. Yeah, no, it was me. All right, we're going to move on.
Never mind.
You say yes, you were.
Yes.
All right, well, you guys were climbing to the top of your group. There was a very important match for the bottom of the tables, and Roccat, they took down Vitality 2-0. This is, of course, your ex-organization, Jankos, so it might make you a bit happy that they took Vitality down 2-0.
Yes, hashtag Roccat fighting. Yeah, I was watching the games. I think that Vitality, for some reason, is not improving, and, you know, 2015, 16, Cabochard, Nukeduck, names like this, even Steelback, they were like big names, they were respected. Right now it seems like they are struggling. I don't know if as individuals or because they have no proper coaching, but the point is, Roccat did beat them. Looked pretty, I mean, it didn't look easy for Roccat, but you know, it wasn't hard either. For some reason, they won like in mid-late game, and overall, I think Roccat is improving a lot and playing well. So.
Actually, the games were quite scrappy.
I mean, Vitality should have just won the first game. If you pick a 1-3-1 comp, and you get
you pick Varus, you mean?
And you pick all the you pick Varus, and you get a 1-3-1 comp with massive advantage on Kennen on the side lanes. You open up 4 turrets, and the only thing that is left standing is tier 2 in bot lane. And for over 15 minutes, you can actually not get that turret, and you start team fighting. I think you're just not taking the game seriously.
I remember one time when we were playing against Vitality on stage, Steelback first item was QSS.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I think it's very often.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It is interesting though that you talk about like the players like Cabochard and Nukeduck and Steelback who've been around for a very long time and are not at the top now. But you, for instance, you have been around for a very, very long time. So what is?
But he's not been at the top very long.
Right.
Yes.
So is that the difference? And how do you kind of keep growing, or how do you keep finding the motivation? Because in the end, you're doing a lot of the same for a long time.
I mean, I've been in the LCS since 2014. I think that year I was pretty good. I think with the full Polish lineup, we were doing well. We had good coach, good players. In 2015, the changes that we made didn't work out in our favor, and we started being bad. Not only me, but also the team. Overall, we struggled in mid-late game, in early game even. I didn't play my role in the jungle, and other players, were struggling as well. Our coach didn't help us much, so it was very hard. But then in 2016, when I joined to H2K again, with Proli, I worked on some of the mistakes, and it's getting better again. So I think overall, not only the individual is important, but also the coach. And I believe that even if your team is bad and you're playing well, then people will realize you are playing well, so they could pick you up. Like for example, me and H2K. But yeah, it's not simple, and it's not easy to be at the top forever. You need this drive to the game. You need to not care about money and care for win. Mm-hmm. Sounds weird, right? But yeah.
No, it sounds logical to me.
We see a lot of talk about Proli, the prodigy coach, formerly Ziggs mid and all. But who is kind of Chris, and I believe Stardust is also helping you guys. Like, what's going on more than Proli, and how are those people helping assist you, maybe in particular?
I mean, Stardust often messages me on my back. So that's really nice because, I mean, it's funny, but like I'm sitting here and I'm, kind of like.
Are you relaxed right now?
Yeah, I mean, I am. But imagine like there is like, this dude like massaging my. Okay, this is going too far. But Proli and Stardust are really good coaches. I think Proli is, only like in-game stuff and like outside of the game a little bit too. Our manager helps a lot when it comes to mentality and like stuff outside of the game. Then our coach is like big guy like in the game, like plays so smart. I mean, I said it so many times already, right? I mean, he's so smart. And then Stardust, like, he's like translator, kind of analyst. Like, he does everything, but he doesn't have like his main role, you know? Like, he helps everyone. Like, he's a coach, he's a translator, he's an analyst, he's like everything.
Yeah, well, it does seem to the teams top of the table. You guys are also at the top of the table. If we look at the standings, you guys are all locked into playoffs. G2, the Unicorns of Love, and H2K and Misfits. And it is kind of a thread that we see. Those 4 top teams, we all know that they have a very solid organizational structure and a lot of things in place to help the teams.
Yeah, I think it's super important that you now start supporting the players with just more than a coach. I'm a big fan of what G2 did as well from their strategy, keeping the same players. Could not find a better mid laner. Surprised they didn't, but even then they kept Perks and they improved the infrastructure. I think it's still okay. Yeah. How's it been actually, Perks? All trolling aside, like having more than just Youngbuck right there, have you felt a big influence on like mentality, composure, preparation?
I think it helped mostly Joey like the most. He was doing everything for us basically last year, like legit every job. So having like
I heard he was even cooking for you guys.
Yeah, he still does.
But massages.
It's good food. Before Joey gets married, it's good food. And the new 2 coaches, like Alex helps him with like they share everything, like they help each other. And Velon is more like he was also like they all want to share like everything and not just do one specific thing. But Velon is like the most instrumental in like outside the game, like mindset wise and all the things that he like teaches us. So it's been useful. Like it's for sure like helped me and everyone else from the team. But it also comes in like the experience from last year, like having 1 year of playing like full, 11 months in a row with barely any breaks.
Yeah.
But like winning and losing, like I think losing like makes you grow more as a person and as a player maybe than
Definitely
winning.
agree. Grown a lot in my career.
So, but winning is also like it's a nice feeling, and it's good to like see what you came from and how to get back to winning. So.
Actually, yesterday when you guys were down 1 game, Ocelot jumps on Twitter immediately and said, "Well, you know, maybe it isn't the worst thing in the world that we win a game." I was like, "But is this? Is he?" I get the sentiment, but
I think it's a comfortable thing to say.
Yeah,
especially
you're 9-0 or you were
when you're
8-0.
like in the first place. You know what? I think we can afford a loss here
Lose a
to
game.
prepare. And I think it's actually good when teams lose right before playoffs because it just highlights vulnerabilities. I'm sure if H2K play like a super good game, but you get exposed like at IEM, for example, that's only going to help you in the long run, right?
I mean, kind of. I think at IEM it was a little bit different because we should have won the second game against Flash Wolves. I don't know about G2 since, you know, Europe versus Europe is different. Maybe, you know, we played better against Flash Wolves than against G2. So, but the point is that, I mean, you know, we fixed a lot of the mistakes that came with IEM. And I don't really want to get exposed before playoffs, but I would prefer to get exposed before playoffs than, you know, at playoffs itself.
Or in scrims, maybe.
Screens doesn't matter.
was this match actually a big indicator for you guys? Because for us at least, you know, we thought Misfits were really strong, and they are, of course, still really, really strong, but we didn't know about the exact kind of differences between the teams, but it does look like H2K is quite a step ahead, and you guys have also beaten them. Does it change your perception of the way playoffs are going to go?
I think H2K and us got kind of a boost from IEM, like getting to see how better teams play, and just like volunteer teams from Korea have better macro than us, or had better macro than us.
It's very sad.
And yeah, it's very sad. But you actually like learn from them, and like when you just watch like volunteer teams from Korea play, like you think, oh, they're so bad, you know. But when you play against them, you're like getting choked out of vision. They're always moving as one unit. They're everywhere on the map, and they just reset when they should reset, and they just play really good. And that's something like we learned, and we are trying to implement more in our play. I think it's same for H2K, and I think it can show in EULCS that like we are just trying to work on those mistakes. Like we're not trying to stomp EU teams or something. We are trying to work on our mistakes that will make us weak in the long run, and now we're working on them, so yeah.
Is that something that should change then from the ground up in scrim culture in Europe? Because I asked you, like, you don't even care if you get exposed in scrims, because scrims don't matter seemingly much, or?
I mean, the thing is, none of the European teams play scrims so well that you can actually expose someone. I think G2 and us, we have very good scrims because both teams play slow game and play kind of on stage.
Unless there's some inting in middle happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's some games where I inted, Perks inted, you know, sometimes Fabi just, you know, walks into enemy turret for no reason.
Happens.
But yeah, this happens.
Yeah.
But like sometimes...
But usually I think, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like sometimes you play against like bottom tier teams, and either you stomp them and you don't know what to do because you're wasting your time. Either you play against a team that's like better, like mid-pack team, but still they are playing way different than on stage. So then the practice is, efficient, but not as efficient. So I actually really like to scrim G2 because I feel even though it's more emotional because, losing a lot in scrims is not good either. And sometimes, we go for one, sometimes they go for one. And it's like, the day wasn't so nice. But the point is that, it's very nice.
Okay.
I agree completely with Jankos. I think especially scrimming them is better than scrimming other teams because they also take scrims a bit more serious in our teams. Some other teams try too many champs or try too many matchups or I don't know, just play full aggro or just a lot different than in scrim than on stage. And I think scrimming H2K is the most accurate way of having a good scrim practice. So.
Well, same as the question goes, how do the top teams improve, is also, of course, the question for a lot of the teams that we have at the bottom of the table. We saw some in action this weekend. And tomorrow, also, the EULCS will conclude at 4 p.m. Central European time with Origin versus Giants, who, are fighting to stay out of the relegation zone. If we have some teams like Schalke, who's been crushing it, PSG coming up there as well, these games are becoming incredibly important.
Yeah, I'm super excited, to see how the bottom of the pack evolves, because, a single win just means so much for a lot of these teams. And I'm actually almost disappointed and happy at the same time that when a guy like H2K can step into a team that has been performing like Origin and actually from a support position can already have noticeable improvement, it worries me a little that they may actually not get relegated, because the way they were playing, they should just drop out of the league. But the fact that when
you think it would be fair?
Well, if they without the H2K, they would have dropped out. They would have lost relegation. But now with the H2K, I think they can actually make it through, because this guy actually knows how to play clutch shot calling in a best of 5.
What are your guys' opinions? Origin's at 0 wins, 0 and 8 there at the bottom of the table in Group B.
I think that they picked up Polish jungler that will be here next week. So I kind of want to see him performing.
The new Jankos.
The new Jankos. I wouldn't go that far. The guy is kind of a rookie, but not exactly. He was playing Spanish league, so he's decent, but nothing else. I really want to see Origin tomorrow against Giants, because when I was watching them, on Thursday, I believe, Rokat versus Origin, that was
that was something else.
That was something, that was different league that I got coached to, that was from different angle I could look at League of Legends, and it was really nice to watch it and enjoy myself with some Waffle Brothers. So it was really fun. So I really want, to repeat that tomorrow when I have free day and I can just chill a bit with some nachos and watch Giant versus Origin, because those games are crazy, man. Yeah, insane.
I'm having a hard time not laughing because you're a very funny person, but it is very important matches for these teams as well.
We can get popcorn.
All right, we're going to pull this back because it is very important matches for these teams. And we see now a team like Rocket, if they put their head to it, now they have 2 wins in this week. That is huge.
Yeah, that would mean so much for them. And I think all these teams are aware that they're playing lower level of League of Legends.
Course.
But at the same time, we have to realize that when the telecom wars are happening and KT and maybe Faker opens the stream and he watches G2 and H2K play, he may also get his popcorn,
the same way.
Right?
He's laughing. He's laughing.
Honestly, he's really laughing.
He's really laughing at the guys too. And that's the reality. There are gradations in level of play. The thing is, right now we see teams of similar skill face off against each other, and for me that's fun to see. They don't have all the basics down, but we still need to see who actually improves the most, because that's where coaching staff steps in. It's so hard for probably to make a 10% improvement in H2K because they're closer to the ceiling. It's much easier for a solid coaching staff, in my opinion, to work with these bottom tier teams and teach them the fundamentals. So I want to see growth from these teams.
If I'm honest, I think Giants improved a lot, and I think they should take the series. Not taking anything from Origin, but I think overall Giants played really well against Vitality, and overall I think they can step up tomorrow as well. I think they have decent players. I think maybe they had some mental issues or mental block on stage or maybe other stuff, but I think overall they are looking way stronger than they were, and I think they should take the game.
All right, that's what we will see tomorrow. It's time for us to log off for the night. Thank you so much for joining us all day. Perks, congratulations, and thank you, Jankos. Thank you for your subpar play-by-play crap, but just kidding, it was great. Thanks for stepping in.
Hey, Average is my middle name.
Well, no comment. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European time as we conclude the cross-group phase of the EULCS 2017 Spring Split. Have a great Saturday night, everyone.
I will.
Nice, nice. getting a couple of autos from those sand soldiers, and the conquering sand sends him packing. Kjarnan, 3 shots nuked at. Kjarnan leads Rocket to the Nexus and to a 1-0 advantage.
Nice. Good play. But did you know in 1 year this is the first time Betsy says good job?
Who is being delivered? Wadid and Maxwell. Cabo shot. That was very well played, Maxwell, this time around.
Make him out the wall. Nice.
Protects his team from relegation. Where's the save? He does it! Joko gets the Baron.
It's fine, guys. Just keep focused. Okay, right now. Elise is back. Elise is back. Elise. I got it. Nice. Cassio is here. Focus Elise. Nice. We can. Here we go. Hype.
Rocket defeat Vitality for a 2-0 week.
Clap. Hey, nice, bro. Yeah, I know. Now we can control it. Yeah. Okay. GM flash. Okay, go nice.
Set up chain or power you. What do you want to assess? And he drops.
That gets the set. Look how looking for one more stack, but he could not get the CC resistance. The greedy base. It was enough for H2K to take game 1 in this series. Hopefully the Misfits can bounce back because we want to see 3 games.
He plays Shackle, I don't know what to do by the way.
Janko slashes in for red buff, QQ, and it's over. Power Evil is crying. Jay, Odawana, they're all chasing at Misfits. They're getting torn apart.
Speed. Yeah. Okay, nice. This is perfect. This is what we wanted.
Everyone is alive from H2K. Yeah, very good. They're looking to the Nexus. They're dropping an attack. Can they get the Nexus? They get it. H2K 2-0 the Misfits.